If you grew up in America, when dinner was something you made from what you had, you probably remember the sound of a pot on the stove and the way the kitchen felt at the end of a long day. Did you ever watch someone you loved open an old cookbook, the kind with soft, worn pages and little pencil marks in the margins? Tonight, I want to take you back there, quietly, gently, just for a little while. Number 1. Chicken and peas. Just hearing those words feels like a weeknight in an old American kitchen. The kind of evening where the house finally got quiet. And somebody, usually mom or grandma, started dinner without making a big deal out of it. Maybe it was leftover chicken from Sunday. Maybe it was just what the budget allowed. And the peas, they were often canned. Poured in, green and simple as they belonged there. A little butter, a little salt and pepper. Sometimes, a quick white sauce is used to make it feel warm and full. It wasn't fancy, but it was steady. It was the kind of meal you ate at the kitchen table while someone talked softly about work, or school, or tomorrow. And somehow, that plain bowl of chicken and peas said something gentle. It said, "You're fed, you're safe, you're home." Number 2. Hot Dr. Pepper. That one always surprises people who didn't grow up with it. But if you were around back then, you might remember it clearly. On a cold evening, when the house felt drafty and quiet, someone would warm a bottle on the stove, not boiling, just enough to let the steam rise. Then came the lemon slice, dropped gently into the mug, floating there as it belonged. You didn't drink it fast. You held it first. Let the warmth reach your hands. It was sweet, a little spicy, strange in a comforting way. This wasn't about soda. It was about comfort, about finding something warm when winter felt long. And for a moment, sitting there with that mug, everything felt calmer. Number 3. Porcupine Meatballs. The name always made kids smile. Even before dinner hit the table, they were made from ground beef and dry rice, mixed together by hand, rolled slowly, like time wasn't rushing anyone. As they cooked, the rice pushed out through the meat, little white spikes. That's how they got their name. They simmered in tomato sauce, filling the kitchen with a smell that meant supper was close. This was a stretching meal, a way to make a little meat go a long way, a way to feed everyone without saying a word about money. You ate them with mashed potatoes, or bread, or just a fork and quiet appreciation. They weren't fancy, but they were warm, and they always showed up when they were needed most. Number 4. Molded salad. You usually notice it before you taste it. Sitting there on the table, cold, carefully shaped, almost too neat to touch. Someone had planned this one ahead of time, mixed it slowly, poured it into a mold, then waited, patiently, usually overnight. There might have been gelatin, maybe fruit, sometimes vegetables that surprised you, all held together in a quiet, wobbly shape. It showed up at church dinners, holiday tables, family gatherings where people wore their nicer clothes. You didn't rush it. You took a small slice, mostly out of respect, and, whether you loved it or not, you remembered it, because it meant someone cared enough to make something special. Number 5. Cottage cheese Jell-O pie. It was one of those desserts that showed up already chilled, pulled from the refrigerator with care, set gently on the table as it mattered. Someone had mixed it earlier. Cottage cheese folded into sweet gelatin, soft, cool, quietly colorful. The crust was simple. Graham crackers pressed down by hand. Nothing fancy, just enough to hold everything together. You didn't take a big slice. You took a careful one, because this wasn't about being rich or indulgent. It was about making something sweet from what you had. And when you tasted it, cold and gentle on a warm day, it felt like an effort, like thoughtfulness, like love, set in place and waiting. Number 6. Deviled ham ring. This was a dish that liked to be noticed. Cold, carefully shaped, Sitting right in the middle of the table, someone had opened a small can of deviled ham, mixed it slowly with mayonnaise, a little relish, maybe a touch of mustard, nothing rushed. Then it went into a ring mold, set in the refrigerator, waiting for its turn. When it came out, it held its shape, perfect, proud, often with something simple spooned into the center, potato salad, peas, whatever was on hand. This wasn't everyday food. It was for guests, for luncheons, for moments when someone wanted to show they tried, and even if you only took a small slice, you remembered it because it meant the table was full. Number 7. Mock apple pie. It looked like the real thing when it came out of the oven. Golden crust, a little bubbling at the edges. The smell of cinnamon fills the kitchen, but there were no apples inside, not a single one. This was a recipe born from hard times, when apples were scarce, and families still wanted something familiar. Inside were crackers, softened slowly in sugar and lemon, spiced just right. You didn't think about what was missing. You thought about how it tasted. Warm, sweet, comforting. It was often served with quiet pride because it fooled the senses and filled the room with something close to joy. Mock apple pie wasn't pretending. It was surviving, and somehow, it still felt like home. Number 8. Egg coffee. It usually happened in the morning, before the house fully woke up, when the kitchen was still dim and quiet. Someone cracked an egg into the coffee grounds, shell and all, sometimes. Stirred it slowly, like it was nothing unusual at all. The pot simmered on the stove, soft bubbles. A familiar smell spreads through the room. This wasn't about being fancy, it was about making coffee smooth. Less bitter, easier to drink. You poured it carefully, no rush. First cup of the day held in both hands. And in that moment, before work, before worry, before noise, everything felt steady. Number 9. Crispy golden chicken. This was the kind of dinner you could hear before you saw it. That soft crunch when someone cut into it. That sound meant it was done just right. The coating was simple, crushed cereal or crumbs saved from earlier in the week. Nothing wasted. The chicken baked slowly, turning golden in the oven, filling the house with a smell that pulled everyone closer to the kitchen. This was comfort food, the kind that felt special without trying to be. Number 10. Mockduck. It was never meant to fool anyone, not really, but it tried its best. Ground meat is rolled out carefully, stuffed with bread and onions, seasoned by hand, then tied up tight as it mattered. It went into the oven slowly and steadily, and as it cooked, the house filled with a smell that felt like Sunday. This was a meal for the company, for days when you wanted the table to feel full, even if the pantry wasn't. They sliced it carefully, poured gravy over the top, and everyone sat down like it was something special. Mockduck wasn't about pretending. It was about effort, about dignity, about making do, and making it feel enough. These weren't just recipes, they were part of a life you lived. They showed up after long work days, during quiet winters, in kitchens where people did their best with what they had. If you remember these dishes, it means you remember patience, routine, care given without ceremony. Those meals mattered because they fed families and held homes together. And if tonight brought a memory back, that's a good thing. Some things were never meant to be forgotten.